The world is not ending just yet. So let's get into this Love Island USA Season 7, Episode 60 to 18, Pre-Casa Drama. So welcome everybody. This is your captain for creativity coming at you again with another review slash reaction. If you're new to this channel, please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you are returning, thank you so much for rocking with us. We are in Fiji, in the Love Island land. And these last couple episodes were pretty good. So let's get into all the drama because these boys ain't loyal, but they're funny. I think the boys are carrying the show. But this journey into Casa is not going to be as interesting because they broke up all the solid couples. So let's just talk about it now. So going back to episode 16, a lot of the drama actually did center around Hannah and Pepe. Basically, Hannah played herself because she had a very strong connection with Charlie, and even before Charlie was, about to get eliminated, he explained to everybody that no, Hannah and him had a talk, so they need to understand that Hannah and him are endgame, so they shouldn't kick him out. They kicked him out anyway, and Hannah just was sliding down the wall, hollering, screaming. So everybody thought that, okay, is she gonna leave with Charlie or, you know, take her time to find another connection? No, she continued to, fool la la with Pepe. So I think the girls probably either didn't respect Hannah and Pepe's connection because of how she was carrying on with Charlie, or they just didn't see Hannah as serious in terms of, looking for real love. She just seemed like she wanted to just hook up with whoever, whenever. And so this is why Huda sees Pepe as an easy target when she decides to get her head back in the game. There was a lot of debate about whether Huda should have pulled Hannah aside and, gave her the heads up that she was about to approach Pepe in episode 16. And I do agree with the majority of the people who voted that, Huda shoulda talked to Hannah because Hannah was there for her and all that jazz. But at the end of the day, this whole drama revealed again that Hannah moved a little too wild for people to respect her connections. And also, it just reinforced the fact that Huda wasn't really a girl's girl. And it was so interesting that trap of, who's the best girl's girl that Huda had set for everybody else to make sure that, she could gatekeep the behavior of the women actually ended up ensnaring her own self because she set the bar high about, what the girls and the boys had to do to be loyal when she thought that she was good with, Jeremiah. And she made all the bombshell feel bad for even talking to Jeremiah when that's the bombshell's job, to talk to everybody. So then when Huda ended up single, she was ended up violating her own rules by, approaching Pepe. So again, it's very important not to be a hypocrite. So Hannah had every right to be upset with Huda. But at the end of the day, everybody was side-eyeing Hannah's connection with Charlie and Pepe. So I don't quite blame Huda. And you see that America is starting to, forgive Huda more, or at least get used to her antics, since you see she came out as one of the safe women who are on top by the episode 18 elimination tonight. Also, by the end of episode 16, if you looked at the Love Island app, the couples that America were feeling the most were Alendra Taylor, Sierra and Nick, Shelly and Ace as the top three. On the bottom, which is very understandable with Hannah and Pepe again because of how crazy Hannah was going over Charlie. And Amaya and Austin, because Austin was complaining about Amaya, which really got on my nerves because first he was talking about how, he wanted Shelly to take him more seriously and focus on him. And then when he had Amaya focusing on him, he was like, I don't like somebody focusing on me like that. I'm trying to, not be closed off. So Austin, he doesn't like any of the women, and he's just making excuses. He like Goldilocks in the house. He's like, no, this woman running too hot, this woman running too cold. He's looking for a bombshell or somebody at Casa to be just right. And last but not least, Ash and Jeremiah. Everybody know that America put them together. They didn't really like each other. But Jeremiah and the new bombshell, Andreina, were getting on very well going into the latest episode, episode 18. So going into episode 18, the bombshell not only likes Jeremiah, but the bombshell also has a pretty good connection with Nick, and Nick also likes the bombshell. So even though Sierra basically, to put it metaphorically, went to home base with Nick, he was curving her a little bit and saying, listen, I'm still open. I love what we did. Thank you for opening your heart and your cookie jar to me. But at the end of the day, I'm still playing the field, and that really hurt Sierra. And it's very upsetting to me and my homegirls because Sierra, she's very genuine. But at the end of the day, these girls gonna learn that physical intimacy does not equate with emotional intimacy and commitment in a relationship. Like, a lot of men, they will take anything you will give them and not give anything back in return if you let them. So unfortunately, our baby Sierra's learned it the hard way, and I just felt so sorry for her this episode because she definitely had let her wall down for Nick, thinking that he would give her a little bit more after, she gave him her all, and that was not the case. So she definitely retreated back into her shell. He even complained to Ace that, when it was nighttime, she just went straight to bed and really talked to him. And Ace told him yeah, relations is going to change everything. So, poor thing. But Nick does have his eye on the other bombshell. And I think that's why he also conspired to get rid of Jeremiah, which we'll talk about next. So the main action in episode 18 was figuring out this double elimination. I did not think that two people would go home, but prior to the episode, Love Island had America voting in the app, who was their favorite woman on the island, who was their favorite guy on the island separately. I knew Huda wasn't going anywhere. Huda is the star of the show. All the people who thought that Huda was going to be in the bottom or Huda might go home clearly aren't watching the show. You're not seeing the tweets. Most of the tweets and content, even articles, are about Huda's crash out or Huda and Jeremiah. So Huda wasn't going anywhere. So whoever, was thinking that, I'm so sorry to you. Welcome to reality T land. Reality TV and tea and bad behavior, all of that makes stars. Even though people who become stars might not be the best people, the fact that they're willing to be themselves and even show out and act a fool is exactly what these producers want. And it's exactly why a lot of people who watch reality TV watch it in the first place. People don't want buttoned up, perfectly rational people all the time on their screens. That's boring. So Huda, as much as, people complained about her behavior, and I still think she was disrespectful to Jeremiah, I very much know that she's a big star of the show. So Huda was off the table, but Jeremiah was not. And a lot of people did agree that Jeremiah did move heartlessly in terms of how he handle the breakup with Huda. Now, on the surface level, you could say that the boys were jealous of Jeremiah. And I do think that part of the reason why he got voted off was because every bombshell, kept going to him, and the other guys didn't get quite the chances with the bombshells because pretty much all of them like Jeremiah. But that is not, you know, the only thing that is the reason why I think Jeremiah got voted off. I think part of it was because they saw that he was trying to play and win the game, especially Ace. Ace clocked from day one that Jeremiah wanted to, pick a girl and just like coast to the end and scam and pretend that he was all in love. And he felt like Jeremiah was doing it again with Andreina. So Ace, for one, I think is doing it because he's thinking endgame. He doesn't want Jeremiah to win, especially because, if anything, him and Andreina, or Jeremiah and Andreina to be specific, do look kind of like the perfect couple of the house. They both like each other. So Ace, I think, was doing some gameplay, and maybe it was a little bit of jealousy too. Nick, I think, more so might have been jealous of Jeremiah and Andreina's connection because Nick also had a connection with Andreina, and you see he was kind of willing to dump Ciara a little bit over Andreina. So if anything, I think Nick might have been the more jealous one, and Taylor, he to me is most like a follower of the guys that voted Jeremiah off because he is following a lot behind Ace. Ace is like his father. Every time you see Taylor and Ace, Ace is telling Taylor what to do. He's like, did you make Olandria breakfast? Did you try hard today? You not giving effort. Like, so it seems to me that Taylor's following behind Ace like a little puppy dog because he hasn't found his connection yet. So he is with Olandria. I don't know if they like each other. Like, this episode, Olandria set up a date for him, and I think he did appreciate that. And I think it did touch him. I saw him looking at her with a little bit more puppy dog eyes and appreciation when, he was eating the grapes and the stuff that, she collected for him in that mini charcuterie board on the boardwalk in Fiji. So he looked a little less like the imaginary friend, a little bit more like he appreciated Olandria, but he's not given in love to me. I feel like at Casa Amor, he's most likely to pull an upset on Olandria. And Olandria also might, find a guy she's more attractive to. So I think Taylor and Olandria will make Casa Amor actually fun to watch because they're one of the only, like, solid couples left. And, Pepe, I don't know what he's thinking, honestly. I think he doesn't like Huda. And he doesn't like how, Hannah has been treated in the house. But if he has seen the way Hannah, had been carrying herself, he's late to the game. So to me, his opinions aren't as fully fleshed out as everyone else's. So I'm not really going to talk about them. But on the deepest level, I think Jeremiah played himself with the people pleasing and the Huda situation, because if he had stuck to his own mind and his own feelings for Huda and not listened to the noise, him and Huda could have still been together. You saw tonight how Huda still pulled him aside, which, bless her heart. You could tell she still really liked Jeremiah. And I know Jeremiah was attracted to Huda. I don't think he was ready to be a dad. I think once he found out that, she was a mom, he started to pull back. And he threw it in her face when he said, you're talking to me like you're a mom, and that moment when he threw it in her face, you knew that he wasn't completely with it, but he was going along to get along and win the game. But at the end of the day, he should not have listened to those boys that didn't really see it for him that much, because he ended up like this cartoon of the people pleaser that I put up. It's like, first they were telling him, oh no, you should just cling to Huda. So then he started to try to explore his connection with other people. And then when he started to explore his connection with other people, they're like, no, 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 you can't, do that too much. And then he clocked game too. He's like, wait, so I'm damned if I do and damned if I don't. So he ended up basically being like, the people pleasing person who ended up carrying the donkey instead of sitting on the donkey himself because of the judgment of other people. He should have stuck with Huda if he really liked her. He let peer pressure and everything get in his head. The only way that I'm not going to have this read of Jeremiah is if he admits that he had a problem with Huda being a mom. As long as he maintains that he didn't have a problem with that, then he's just a people pleaser and he should have just stuck with her. Now, the Hannah of it all was a little sad, but at the end of the day, I didn't want Amaya to go home because Amaya is one of my favorites, and I want to see her reactions when she finds out that Austin don't really see it for her, because right now she understands that she has to pull back, and she had a little teary conversation with Olandria, saying that she's gonna pull back, but I think she's gonna find somebody that appreciates her for her in Casa. She's still probably gonna get mad at Austin when they break up, because even with Ace, when Ace had shown her like as many times as Ace did how much he didn't see for Amaya, still was dramatic and like freaking out about everything that Ace said. And basically, Amaya's good TV. When it was time to even do the votes for the people, she was the one that, no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to vote anybody off. Like, she gives the best reaction, and she wears her heart on her sleeve. So even though she knows that Austin doesn't see it for her, her reactions to what Austin does at Casa Amor will also be worth watching. So I'm glad that, Amaya and Austin are around for Casa. Iris and I guess TJ have a good connection, but it's just so new and they haven't really claimed each other yet. So it's nothing to see there for now. And even if they, get tested and break up at Casa, if they get a chance to get together before Casa, it's very low stakes. So Iris honestly should have been the one to go. But I think the girls like Iris, and they liked how she handled Huda, because Iris showed that she had integrity behind that situation. She could have, gave Huda everything nasty back that Huda, was given to her, but instead she showed class. She rose above it. She was kind to Jeremiah, checking in on him. So I think she gained a lot of respect in the house. Whereas I think Hannah lost respect for how she was moving with Charlie and Pepe. And even when she broke up with them, she broke up with them both the same way, talking about, I'm going to visit you, I'm going to see you. Them two are going to fight when they're both at Hannah's door, because she promised both Pepe and Charlie that they're going to get to visit her. And she invited all of them to their birthday. So she's the kind of girl that can cause a lot of drama and misunderstandings, because she's flighty with her feelings. It seems like she can move very fast with as many people, as she can. And on this island, there's enough drama. So just the fact that the girls were like, yeah, we don't need that kind of movement here, made me a little sad for Hannah. But I kind of agree with the choice now that I think about it, and how she was acting again with Charlie and Pepe. So prediction. So Casa Amor is going to be 5 new girls, 6 new boys. From the pictures that they showed us, I think the girls in the house are way more stunning than, I guess, the new Casa girls. I think the true fight is going to be between Nick and Sierra and Andreina. That love triangle is going to be very interesting, because if Nick jumps ship for Andreina, Sierra is going to have a better time at Casa, but her heart going to be broke for a little bit. And in terms of the boys, I want to see Olandria and Taylor both find someone that, they have a better match with. But Maybe they prove that their love is strong. I don't know. Yeah, but in terms of eliminations, if these boys don't get a little bit more loyal, they need to start, you know, going home, especially Taylor, because Austin tried to vote Taylor off before. And again, Taylor, I don't think is very serious about Olandria. So if Austin tried to get rid of Taylor before, he might be able to get the disloyal boys to turn on Taylor as well. So we shall see. I think Taylor is in danger with the fans for sure. He was already on Austin's chopping block radar. I think the boys messed up by not getting rid of Austin, because Austin has peeped the game of Ace and his followers, and he don't see it for them. So if Austin can, get a stronger team of boys, maybe with Pepe and TJ and whoever else walking, Ace and his little followers, especially Taylor, who again already almost caught some of Austin's, revenge. um, they're in trouble, and I think Austin is gonna complete his revenge plan against Ace over, Ace taking Shelly away, and now Ace taking his friend Jeremiah away. Austin could be a force to be reckoned with. Again, I don't think the girl for him has come in yet. And I know a lot of people don't like his views and beliefs, but at the end of the day, on the island itself, he is peeping game correctly that, Ace is quarterbacking a lot of these plays. And again, Ace took Shelly from him. So Austin has an axe to grind. And now he has two reasons why, he's going to maybe shake up things with the boys. But I don't know. These are all just like random predictions. Say how you think things will shake down in the comments. And as of now, because of all the disloyalty and all the bad decisions, I want Amaya and whoever bombshell she finds at Casa to win. That is my pick. I think the boys did Jeremiah dirty. I'm so sorry. Even though Jeremiah messed up and made mistakes, my jaw was on the floor when he left. It was a little shocking, but Jeremiah, you should have been trying to please them boys in the first place. You should have stayed with Huda. Even though she's toxic, you could have broke up with her a little better, comforted her that night, maybe got her eliminated and then moved on. That would have been, I guess, the classy way to do it. But I guess getting away from her as fast as possible when America gave you the out was nice. But you could have handled the breakup a little more nicely. I think that's why your votes went down and you ended up in the bottom three the way you did. But Polo Ting Ting, them boys were not loyal. Ooh, I didn't know them boys would be the ones to pack you up like that. So sorry, Jeremiah. See you at the reunion. It's gonna be juicy. Now you know these boys are not your friend. And Taylor, watch out, because I know again Austin already tried to get you before, and I think Austin's gonna want revenge for his boys. But everybody say what y'all think in the comments. And remember, you are the master of your fate and the captain of your soul. And everybody stay encouraged in these times. Bye.